This is Alan Ball.
Hi, this is Audrey Fisher.
This is Jim Perry.
Hi, this is Kristen Bauer.
Hi, this is Alexander Skarsgard.
This is Nelson Ellis.
Hi, this is Johnny Neal.
This is Rayo Tucker.
Hi, this is Lindsay Pulsifer.
Hi, this is Ryan Quanton from True Blood.
Hello, this is Theo Alexander.
Hey, this is Lauren Bowles.
Hi, this is David Tishman.
This is Chase Everett.
Hello, this is Janina Gavankar.
This is James Frayne.
Hi, this is Courtney Ford, and you're listening to True Blood Radio.
This is Liz.
This is Mel.
Welcome to True-Blood.net podcast number 148 for the week of August 28, 2011. We'll be discussing this week's episode, Burning Down the House, a little later, but first we've got some news, including Mel's review of the Sookie Stackhouse Companion and our new giveaway contest, which we're pretty excited about. And later in the show, we've got the most exciting news ever, exclusive interview with Alexander Skarsgard coming right at you.
First, we wanted to announce the winners of our V-Moda headphones and earphones contest. Jamie Roto won the on-ear headphones, and Jerry Huber is the winner of the in-ear revamps. Congratulations to both of you, and thanks to all who participated. This was a big one. We've got more goodies coming your way, though, so stay tuned.
And we launched, speaking of goodies, we launched our new giveaway contest last Friday for Tarte Cosmetics. The lip and cheek color is going to be made available to you. Mel and I have both been gushing over this stuff since we got back from Comic-Con and we got our kits, our handy-dandy kits. And you've heard us talk about them, you've heard us laugh and smile, and you've seen our gorgeous faces with this stuff on. We can't say enough about it. Now we're offering you guys a chance to win. There will be 3 winners. Yes, 3 winners of the Leap and Chick color. We'll go with that.
Oh.
The winners will be announced on September 8th, so get on over to True-Blood.net and enter.
And late last week, I posted my advance review of the Sookie Stackhouse Companion. Penguin sent over an early copy for us to take a look at and post about. And, you guys, you got to have it. If you're a Sookie fan, you need this in your library. It is awesome. Okay, first, there's the short story. It's actually a novella. It's not a short story. It's longer than, usually what she puts in those anthologies. It's an original novella by Charlene Harris, and it's called Small Town Wedding. It deals with, it follows Sookie and Sam. Sookie's going with Sam to his brother's wedding in, I think it's Wright, Texas. This is where you have to separate book Sam from True Blood Sam, because his brother is not a total screw up in the books. His little brother's getting married, and he had asked Sookie to go with him before he started dating Jana Lynn. And even after he started dating Jana Lynn, he still wants Sookie to go because Sookie dips into his brain and sees that he's not sure that his family would really get Jana Lynn, or that he really wants her to be there to meet his family. And he's feeling conflicted about this. She decides to kind of leave that alone. But so there's no vampires in this one. Sookie talks to Eric on the phone a couple of times, but that's it. This is about shifters and wares, and this is the book was delayed. It was supposed to have come out early this year, before book 11 and before True Blood season 4, but it came out. It's coming out, of course, this week, and it's set shortly after the shifters, the Tuohys, made themselves known to the rest of the world, and it didn't go very well. And Sam's stepfather shot his mother, so now his stepfather's in jail, and tensions are high in this small town and across the nation as well. And so it's kind of dealing with that and the issues of hate. It's not a subtle social message in the story, but it fits well. It's not smacking you over the head or seeming like she shoehorned it in. I think what Charlene saw was, hey, this is an opportunity to get to know some of our characters better and also make a statement about hate and bigotry. So it's a very good episode, very good little novella. Made this Sam girl happy because he gets a lot of page time, and we get to know him a little bit better, get to know his family a little bit. Luna makes an appearance, Quinn makes an appearance, so it's definitely worth checking out for that alone. But in addition, there's a map up on Tom, which is really cool. I had mentioned before that I was really looking forward to that. There's a few recipes. There's a timeline, which is priceless. The only thing in the books that is dated is Hurricane Katrina. And Charlene talks a little bit about that in a Q&A section that's also in the book. But using that as the time, the one set date in the books, one of the contributors has worked backward and forward from that point to assemble a timeline of all of the action in all of the books, which is really helpful if you're like me and you're reading along and you're like, okay, now I'm really confused. What day is this? So she does that, and gives a brief description of what happens on each day in the books, which is very helpful. And then there's also a glossary so that you can go it's an encyclopedia basically. You can look up names and places, and it says, what they are, and then kind of how they are connected to other parts of the book, other people, or other places, other events. So that's, there's some of those minor characters or minor places. Like I was flipping through and I was like, wow, I didn't even remember this person from the books, but they're in there. So things that become important maybe later on, and you're like, what? Where did that come from? Well, you can reference back. There's an original Q&A with Charlene answering fan questions. There's one with Alan Ball answering fan questions. It's between seasons 2 and 3, so it's a little outdated. There's a little brief history of the official Charlene Harris fan club, which is kind of cute to read. What else is there? There's a couple other sections I'm drawing a blank right now, but it is chock full of important information if you're a Sookie fan. Definitely worth purchasing, so I highly recommend it.
Well, as if he's not busy enough, Variety announced last week that Alexander Skarsgard has joined the cast of indie film Disconnect. He plays a former Marine who has an affair when his wife emotionally neglects him. Disconnect begins production next month.
We also have new interviews featuring Carrie Preston talking about ghosts and Baby Mikey and redheads on TV. Joe Manganiello visits the set of Good Day LA and demonstrates his lifting abilities. And Stephen Moyer talks about The Caller. You can also check out the 21 new Season 4 stills released last week in our gallery at True-Blood.net. There's some pretty good ones in there. And new on the site, we have Billy Doo's recap of this week's episode, Burning Down the House, complete with her favorite quotes and her always original rating for the episode. Be sure to check that out and join the discussion.
And our Friday 5 was Mistakes Made by Tommy Mickens, the dearly departed Tommy Mickens now. Courtesy of our forum member, Nothing But Joy. She came up with the idea and said, hey, how about doing a Friday 5 on this? I said, okay, you write them, I'll post them. And we did. So go on and check those out and see if her list compares with yours.
We also just posted 5 actors who could play Quinn. Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson, Oded Fair, Shamar Moore, and Jason Momoa made our list. Go check out our arguments for each and vote in the poll or submit your own in the comments.
And don't forget, for a little shopping, head over to the HBO shop. They've got new merchandise over there, including the Festival of Tolerance poster, which features Nan and Bill, and the Say No to Hate t-shirt. And there's a bunch of other stuff in there, including the True Blood beverage, the Tarte Cosmetics, some skins for your laptop, and more and more and more.
It's summertime, time to relax with a good book, and Audible is offering True Blood Radio viewers a free audiobook download with a free 14-day trial to give you a chance to check out their service. To download your freebie, go to audibletrial.com/trueblood, where you can find all 11 Sookie Stackhouse novels, plus hundreds of other titles. Again, that's audibletrial.com/trueblood for your free audiobook.
Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, we've got our exclusive interview with Alexander Skarsgard. We grabbed a couple moments with him about a week or so ago. And, he's ever gracious and kind and wonderful. And that voice, OMG. So I'm just going to let you guys listen.
Hi, Alex. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. This is Mel with True-Blood.net. Hey. We talked to you, shortly after season 1, and that interview is the most popular thing we've ever posted on our website.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
That's very flattering.
Yeah, well, we thought it was time for a follow-up.
Yeah.
First, though, we wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. things have changed quite a bit in the couple of years since we talked to you last.
Yeah, it kind of has, right?
Yeah. So you're going to Toronto. I just saw today Melancholia is screening there.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to Cannes because we were shooting season 4 in LA, so I missed the premiere at Cannes. But I'm shooting in New York now, and it's on a Saturday, so I can fly up for the weekend and go to the premiere. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Will this be your first time at TIFF?
The first time I've seen it?
The first time at the Toronto Film Festival.
Yes, it is actually. I've been to Toronto before, but I've never had a film at the festival there.
Wow, that's exciting.
It is. It's a great city, and my dad's been in the festival a couple of times. He loves it, so I'm really excited to go there. And it's such a special project for me. I'm really, I love working on Melancholia. So
yeah,
and it's gonna be so much fun to go up there and screen it.
Yeah, share it with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then right after that, Straw Dogs comes out.
Exactly. So it'll be it's pretty hectic right now. I'm working on a movie called What Maisie Knew now in New York. So I'm busy shooting that, and then doing press for both. Obviously, True Blood now because wrapping up the season, and Melancholia and Straw Dogs. So it's quite busy right now.
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's a lot of fun. And I'm having a great time here in New York. I really enjoy working on this movie.
I've seen some photos from the set of you with the little girl that's playing Maisie, right? Is that?
Yeah, she's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Onada is her name. She's adorable. She's so good.
Yeah. Well, you guys look adorable together. I don't know much about the role except that it's based on a Henry James novel, and you're her stepfather?
Exactly. It's basically a custody battle. It's about a divorce. Julianne Moore and Steve Coogan are married in the movie, and then in the beginning of the movie they split up, and it's basically the whole movie's from the little kid's point of view of her going back and forth between the parents. But they're not really there for the kid, so she ends up I end up taking care of her, and the nanny, the father, Steve Coogan's character marries the nanny. So we kind of end up raising the kid.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's not at all what I thought was going on in that movie.
Oh, no. It kind of becomes, because Julianne's character, she's on the road, she's a musician, a rock star, so she travels a lot, and she doesn't really take care of the kid, and the dad is not really there either, so Maisie basically ends up pretty much going back and forth between her stepfather that I play and her stepmother that Joanna Vanderham, a Scottish actress, plays. And we've been shooting for 3 weeks now in the city here in New York and out on Long Island, and it's been just amazing. It's just great people and a really fun character to play. Very, very different from Eric on True Blood, so it's a great challenge, and I'm really having a great time.
You told us in your interview back in the day that your motto is to always be curious because curiosity is insubordination in its purest form. Is that still your motto?
Yeah. It's definitely, it's very important to me. And without it, I'm not very creative, You're not, like, if I'm not curious, like if I'm not intrigued, if I'm not fascinated by a character or a story, then I need that excitement when I kind of embark on the journey, or when you start working on a character and exploring it. There has to be something new, something that you haven't played before or discovered before. So it's very important.
Well, just looking at the movies that you have coming out with Melancholia, Straw Dogs, Battleship, What Maisie Knew, they're all such different characters. And that's what made us remember that quote. Yeah,
and that's kind of what I definitely look for. I mean, we obviously have an amazing time on True Blood, but when we have that hiatus, those 5 months off, I definitely look for interesting characters in different movies to do something that's, I mean, last year I did Battleship, and and Melancholia, two completely different movies and completely different characters. And same thing with this. Lincoln, the guy playing What Means New, is very, very different from Eric Rothman. So
yes.
I'm having a great time doing it.
Yeah. Well, tell us about your character in Straw Dogs, since that's what's coming up that we'll be able to see pretty soon. What about him appealed to you when you saw that script? You said, "This is what I want to do on my hiatus."
He's very. There's a sadness there that I was drawn to. He was the star when he was young. You know, of this little town. He was the quarterback of the football team and got a scholarship at University of Mississippi, and he was he was dating the cheerleader, and everyone thought that he'd make it one day. And when the movie starts, it's 10 years later, and he didn't really leave the town. He never he got injured, and he never played for a professional football team, and he never got his big break. And his girl, they broke up, and she lived in L.A. And when we start the movie, she comes back with a new husband who's, in my character's eyes, kind of a douchebag. He thinks he's cooler than us and better than us. And there's definitely a sadness there, and the fact that he comes back with what my character thinks is still my girl. I just found that very interesting, and playing something that could have been kind of just a plain bad guy, but to make him three-dimensional and real, and hopefully for the audience to kind of understand him at the beginning of the movie. And that, we wanted, like, at the beginning of the movie, we wanted to kind of be on the fence whether she should go back to her ex-boyfriend or stay with her husband. To kind of make it a little more interesting.
Yeah. It definitely adds more dimension than the original movie had.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's quite different, and we talked a lot about making sure that there was, that you could understand why she dated Charlie 10 years ago, and that that he had a certain quality that maybe her husband, doesn't have.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then, moving back to True Blood, you've been able to play someone almost completely different for a lot of the season as well, with Amnesia Eric.
Yeah.
Were you excited when you saw that coming up in the scripts?
Oh, yeah, I was thrilled. It was so much fun. Obviously completely different from what I've done before. I got to be playful and really have fun with it, and just go crazy. And it was a great season. I really, really enjoyed it.
You've said in the past that Eric, from the first 3 seasons, you studied lions, and you based a lot of his, particularly his movements, on how lions moved around. That grace, but that predator element. So, did you look to who or what did you look to for Amnesia Eric, and how he?
Well, to me, it was important that it was still dangerous, and that was that was kind of the challenge this season, to make sure that it's just not goofy and funny, and it's not a new Eric. It's just a different side of Eric. So to me, it was about finding that that predator, that lion within, it still has to be there deep inside, and you got to feel that when you watch it. But even though he's naive and innocent and very, very different, it was just important, to find a level where that doesn't, we don't lose him completely.
Yeah, it seemed like we were seeing parts of the Eric that we already knew coming through, especially in how he reacted to Bill once he knew that Bill was his king.
Yeah.
It seemed like, the ancient Viking Eric knew all about fealty and loyalty. And, so, some of the fans have been kind of upset. They said, well, Eric would never have bowed down to Bill. And we said, well, no, now think about what you're saying.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the hierarchy, kind of like, this is his king now. He doesn't recognize Bill. So he doesn't know what their history is, or he just knows that a guy shows up and he knows about loyalty, even though he lost his memory. He can feel that. He knows that if someone shows up and says he's your king, then you have to kind of obey and be loyal.
Mm-hmm. Here in the last few episodes, Eric is under Antonia / Marnie's spell, or Martonia, as the fans are calling her. So you got to work with Fiona Shaw some. Can you tell us a little bit about that and going into these last couple of episodes in the season, what we can expect from Eric?
Oh, she's phenomenal. She's a lovely, lovely woman, and obviously a fantastic actress. So I was really lucky to get some fun stuff with Fiona this year. Mm-hmm. And at this point, she kind of, I'm her puppet, she's in control of me, and Eric is obviously very strong and powerful, so it's a good weapon for her to have.
Mm-hmm.
And I obviously can't reveal what's going to happen, but definitely it's dangerous when Antonia or Marnie gets her hands on someone that strong and old as Eric.
I can imagine, and we cannot wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Alex, thanks so much for taking the time, and congratulations on everything that's going on for you. We're so proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much, and thanks for all the hard work you guys are doing on the internet.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, and again, happy birthday.
Thank you. All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You're funny. So that was our boy Alex talking about True Blood, working on his new movies, Maisie, what's coming up with Straw Dogs, etc. And I think blushing a little bit when we informed him that his previous interview was our most visited post ever on the site. True story. It totally is. Y'all can't get enough of him, so there he is. There's more of Alex just for you. And we, of course, are working on other interviews, so stay tuned.
Yes, can't wait. All right, well, we're going to go right into our discussion of this week's episode, Burning Down the House. It was packed, totally skyrocketed. I totally love this episode.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I think it may have been the best this season, and I think the season is probably the best so far, so that's saying something. This was the acting in this episode just floored me. These people are good at their jobs.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Andy, Chris Bauer did a phenomenal standout performance. Going through the denial and, hitting rock bottom when Terry finally makes him realize that he's an addict, and him coming to terms with that. And there was some, it's tough. I've never gone through it, thank God, but it's tough to watch. Terry was there. Terry's been there, so he's the perfect person to help his cousin kind of take the baby steps to go along, and takes him to the Bellflower Fort, which I thought was kind of cute.
Yeah. Yeah. How about that scene of the two of them throwing down? I was riveted. Mm-hmm. That was phenomenal.
Yeah. It was something, I tell you, acting chops all around on both sides. It was great to watch. I'm glad that Chris had his moment. I think it's been a long time coming, and you had to know it was coming. You had to know that everything that he's been going through this season is going to lead up to this. And I'm excited to see, what comes out on the other end now.
I'm glad that it was Terry that was the one that took him out and kind of forced him to see what was going on. This show is so much about family, but there's all this other stuff going on that sometimes we lose that. And I think in this episode, we actually got a lot of family connections. And this was one of them. And I really liked that they put that in there. They put in the Bellflower cousins in addition to Jason and Sookie, partnering up, and Lafayette being concerned about his cousin Tara, and the Sam and Tommy stuff. There was a lot of sibling and cousin drama happening, and connections, and just different interactions. And we don't get to see Andy and Terry very often. And I just really was pleased to get to see it. I was pleased to see that Terry, of course, he has a history, as you said, with narcotics and addiction. And to make him be the one to confront Andy made sense on so many levels. And to have it be such a spectacular scene was, it has to be rewarding for them to watch it.
Yeah, we got a little glimpse as to what they were, their childhoods were like. Coming from opposite sides, Andy coming from money, Terry coming from none, but, having, it was funny how, they each saw something in the other that they wanted, they were jealous of each other for, the things that they had, and it was, isn't that often the case when you come to family, or even, friends that have grown up together? There's always a certain amount of that kind of stuff. But, I like that we got a little bit of a look into, just a little bit of the past for Andy and Terry. We know his demons are real. Like he said to Andy, the things that I see actually happened. That kind of struck me. I was like, oof, I bet. So, war is hell.
Yes. I think we'll be seeing more of that with this character that's coming up in the season finale and going to be in the next season. I think we may be dealing more with what Terry went through. So that was a little bit of a setup for that storyline coming. But we also had Andy throw in that, all that money that Terry was jealous of was his grandmother's, and it's all gone, which opens up a certain storyline from the books that I have to think they're going to follow now since they threw that out.
Yeah. I'm sure they will now. Well, so let's talk about Sookie and Eric. This show started out with a bang, literally.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, wow. That was, way to go, Sookie. She harnessed her power and she used it when she wanted to. This is, I think, the first time we've seen her proactively use her power rather than have it be a reaction.
Yeah.
Be kind of an accident. This time she said, I want to use it, and she did. So that's an important step forward for her, I think.
I agree. It was so focused, too. And it ended up breaking the curse on Eric, which no one knew. Who saw that coming? And the fact that Marnie, Antonia, whoever she was at the time, witnessed that. A lot of people witnessed that. I thought Bill had seen it before, but now I'm kind of drawing a blank. I thought he saw that before, but I guess not.
Oh, hasn't he? I thought he had as well. But, of course, now I can't pinpoint the scene, so I don't know. You Truby know-it-alls, you tell us in the comments. When we miss stuff, we rely on you.
Yeah. Well, and we know that Eric never saw it before, and surely no one else in the room knew anything about that. I don't know.
That's true. This was kind of a revelation of this power that she's had. You're right. I think all the other witnesses to it are dead because they were witnesses to it.
Yeah. Oh, I think Bill may have seen it when she used it in front of Russell.
That's it. That's right. So he was the one who knew, but he still looked really surprised that she did it. I think maybe that she did it for him, that she saved him.
Maybe, or maybe it was the fact that she had such control.
That could be it, too. It could just be a shock to him to see her controlling that power that previously had been just kind of an instinctive, reactive thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and surprise, surprise, it broke Martonia's spell. So I wonder if now that Sookie and Lafayette, Sookie and Lafayette and Jesus and Tara are all trapped in Moon Goddess Emporium, can she use it to get out?
Be interesting to see. I'm curious. Well, it doesn't look promising. Next week's episode doesn't look good.
Well, it looks good from an entertainment point of view, but not if you're one of those characters.
Yeah. But Anyway, it was a great scene. It was a great fight between Eric and Bill. Wow. I mean, it's obvious the power, is all on Eric's side. But, and Bill didn't have a chance. And yet, he was telling Sookie to get out of there. Even when, Eric was getting ready to stake him. And Bill's like, just Sookie, get out of here. So, I don't know. I kind of sometimes think that Bill still he's still not resolved to his vampire life.
Mm-mm. No, he's not.
So I don't know. I think that sometimes when those opportunities come up, he welcomes them. Part of him welcomes them. And knowing also that, he and Sookie aren't together, I don't know. I kind of went, no.
Well, we also have the fact that Antonia separated herself from Marnie after seeing what happened, after seeing the bloodbath that she caused. She separated herself from Marnie and was devastated and saying, you could see it on her face, this is not what she wanted. And then, they apparated because it's Fiona Shaw and there always has to be a Harry Potter.
You couldn't resist, could you?
I couldn't. Well, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw that. I was like, oh, apparate.
I love it. No wands. Yeah, so, let's talk about that. Antonia and Marnie having the struggle, we find out that it's really Marnie that's the psycho. And Antonia she really just only wanted to go after the people that hurt her. Marnie, where does all that hate and anger come from?
I think it's because Marnie never was able to go through this thing that we have right now, and you've seen a lot of the PSAs from the actors, it gets better. She's still a, middle school reject. She's never gotten over it. And we've seen in real life, you've seen that kind of thing fester and turn to hate and psychosis. And, and then people end up doing these horrible, horrible things. And their only excuse is, so-and-so picked on me in high school, or I was bullied in middle school. And I shouldn't say only excuse because it is a traumatic experience, but I was interested to see that they based Marnie's motivation in such a real world circumstance, in such a real world situation.
True. So then she becomes a tragic, kind of a pathetic figure. And Antonia is the one that's trapped.
Although Antonia did choose to go back to rejoin her. Marnie has grown in confidence. She persuaded Antonia to, rejoin, repossess, to merge with her again and to work through her.
Yeah. See, now that puzzled me because I thought Antonia was pretty much, what she was saying was true. It's not the same world that she lived and died in. Her world was much smaller, and now there's just too much, and she seemed to be the weaker one. And so I was rather surprised that Marnie was able to talk her around, into joining with her again. I was hoping not, but of course it's not in the script, so.
Well, even for all that Marnie is upset with what they had done, with the collateral damage, I think, of what happened there at the Tolerance Festival. Because remember, Bill pointed out in last week's episode that only 2 vampires doesn't really make this a festival of tolerance, or, a tolerance festival. I think, he was surprised that there weren't more vampires there. And I think that Martonia was counting on there being more vampires there. And what they ended up with was, killing a lot of humans, which is not what she wanted, is not what Antonia wanted.
That's true.
So I think Marnie was able to tap into the anger that's still there in Antonia and say, we have another chance. We just need to plan better. We just need to, strike them without humans around, basically. So.
All right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. I could see that now. I don't know. There was some great acting, though, again, Fiona Shaw. I can't say enough about her. I just can't. I think that if I had an opportunity to interview, like do a press with her, I would be the one freezing up and going, I just don't know what to say.
All I can say is you're awesome. You're
Yeah,
amazing.
Just
So what's your response to that? What's it like to be awesome? What's it like to be so talented?
because she's just wonderful. She could do it all, you know? I mean, just look at her when she was with Jesus then.
Yes, I was just going to bring that up. And you saw the shift from Antonia looking through her eyes and then back to Marnie. And it wasn't even the real Marnie. Did you
No, it
notice
was
that?
the more innocent, like childlike, kind of scatterbrain Marnie that we knew in the beginning of the season when we first met her.
The one she knew Jesus knew and wanted to see and would follow.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You think that was on purpose then?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I think Marnie is a lot smarter than people realize, and she's growing in confidence as she grows in power. And she is not about to let Antonia get away.
Yeah.
Not after she's had a taste of that power. And I mean, she even said that now that she knows what they can do together, she won't let Antonia leave. But that scene between Fiona Shaw and Paola Turbay, wow. That was another one where I was just riveted watching the two of them.
Yeah, Antonia was breaking my heart. Truly, she was.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came out that she was actually a healer, wow, she's going against the code. She's going against her vow. That's hard. I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. I hope it doesn't end badly for Antonia. I think Marnie just needs to be committed.
Yeah. I don't see Marnie getting out of this alive.
That could be. But I would like to see Antonia put to rest. Maybe after this, this will be the thing that finally makes her see, hey, I'm out of here. This is way out of my league. And without Marnie around, So that's going to be interesting, the big showdown.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, back at Moon Goddess Emporium, Holly is on the case. She is going to figure this out, and she's got Tara involved, and they figured something out.
I really liked her calmness. Holly. She just seemed to really she pulled it together, and even no matter what she felt, there has to be an answer. There has to be a way out of this. I'm not taking no for an answer. There's just got to be a way, and I'm going to look for it, and I'm going to find it, and even if it means me doing it on my own, I will. I really like that. I admire that about her. I would like to get to know Holly more.
Well, maybe once Andy gets off the V, we can see her in a social setting.
I hope so, because I just think that she's got there's a lot to her. There's just I'd like to explore that character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
So, but she pulls Tara in with her, and I love that. Tara, poor Tara, she just doesn't know what to do anymore. She's just trying to stay alive, poor girl.
She's not even supposed to be there. She just tagged along with Lafayette and Jesus one time. And now look what happened.
Those boys, it's all their fault.
Yeah. Well, they're involved with it now too. They are. I remember when you posted the photos last week, and the one I liked the most was of Sookie and Jason standing there with their arms crossed. And they've never looked more alike than they do in that photo. And that was the scene where they went to talk with Lafayette and Jesus and say, you have to help. We need help. This is what's going on with the witches. You have to help us. And Lafayette's like, oh, Lord. But Jesus is on board with it. He's like, you're right. We've got to fix this.
Well, that was his friend. Marnie was his friend. So, what an eye-opener he got. Yikes.
Well, and, Jesus is also a healer. So I wonder if in the end he's going to relate more to Antonia and be a way for her to be laid at rest. To be put at
Maybe, I don't
peace.
know. But did you see as he was breaking through that wall, he turned into a demon?
Mm-hmm.
This was the mask that we
Yeah.
saw in their last season in their drugged up kind of their V trip.
Their V trip.
And we didn't know what that was. I just thought it was something from the past. And it couldn't, could very well be, but it's Jesus. So he's demon?
Is a brujo a demon? I thought a brujo was just the Latin name for a witch, the Spanish name for witch.
So
like
it could
male
still
witch.
be, okay.
But he does say, I have a demon. He's talking to Martonia and says, because she sees it and she identifies what it is, and he says yes.
Okay.
So there is a darkness in him. They've alluded to that in interviews in the past, that there is a darkness in Jesus. And that's apparently what it is. But he's just been able to keep it at bay, keep it under control.
Interesting that it comes through then.
Mm-hmm. So could this be the way that they introduce characters like Mr. Catalides?
I hope so. That'd be
Yeah.
cool. And he's pretty key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he needs to be coming up pretty soon.
So I hope that's it. And not a different character. Because I'd like to see Kevin Alejandro stay on the show.
I got a bad feeling, Liz. I have a bad feeling. We lost Tommy, which I thought, there really wasn't much more his character could do because it was clear he was not learning from his mistakes. So, that wasn't really a surprise, but I have an ominous feeling about Jesus. For one thing, he and Lafayette are getting along way too well. Their relationship is going very, very well. Mm-hmm. And that's usually a sign that something bad's about to happen.
That would just be awful. That would just be terrible.
Well, plus the fact, okay, here we go into pure speculation. Kevin Alejandro, he auditioned for a lead role in Law & Order SVU. He didn't get it, but, that's a full-time job. That doesn't leave a lot of time for filming True Blood.
Oh. I have a feeling that the finale is going to be a gut-wrencher.
I think it is.
As if this episode this week wasn't enough, because I know there's a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, I'm so glad Tommy's dead. Tommy's dead," and they're breaking out the banners and whooping it up. But I cried. It was an extremely touching scene. I was sad for Sam, very sad for Sam. Mm-hmm. And when he said to Tommy, I wished I would have been a better brother to you. I just didn't know how. I'm sitting there going, yeah. But right, he didn't know how. He meets his family that he never knew was still around, a brother he never knew he had, and, who's mm-hmm. just like him. And, I get it. He didn't know. I think it was just the two of them was it was too little too late. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Tommy's had regrets all along. He makes the mistakes because, like I said before, he's impulsive, but he was truly, genuinely sorry and tried to make up for his mistakes. Unfortunately, he just ended up making things worse and worse till it finally got him killed. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking better him than Sam, and I'm thinking he's thinking that too, because it just, even in the end there, Tommy didn't have any self-worth whatsoever. Don't try and save me, mm-hmm. Just let me die. Mm-hmm. And that just, I don't know, that kind of, I felt bad. I cried.
I didn't actually cry, but, I got misty because, that I've lost my sympathy for a lot of his actions in the last couple of episodes. But that doesn't mean that he wasn't worth saving. If he could have pulled himself together and started making better decisions, I would have championed that, I would have been rah, go Tommy. But he just, for whatever reason, he didn't feel that he had it in him mm-hmm. to do that. And it seems like, we speculated last week that going to see Marcus as Sam was an attempt to take the beating on Sam's behalf to kind of make up for some things, and that his death, he would feel, it seemed like he felt, like you said, better him than Sam. You know, Sam has people that love him, people that care about him. He has responsibilities. He owns a business. He's a good man. And Tommy felt like he didn't have any of that. And so he just said, you know what, just let me go. I have nothing to live for, which is a terrible, terrible thing. It's a tragic ending to a really tragic life.
And a short one.
But, yes, a short tragic life. But what else could that character have become without a complete 180? And I think that they probably decided that that wouldn't be in Tommy's character to recreate himself. And that Sam, I mean, bless his heart, he's been through some tough stuff, but this may be the catalyst for some other storylines that are coming up. So,
yeah, and that's what I was just going to say. I think Tommy was a character that was used to move a story along, a couple of them, in fact, because now Sam is going to confront Marcus. Alcide, okay, is also got some consequences, okay, for helping Tommy. He turned on his own pack member, and there's going to be consequences for that. Meanwhile, Debbie is with Marcus, as Tommy was dying. So there's the two storylines that I think, and I think probably Tommy's character, like you said, it was the catalyst that moved both those storylines forward.
It's actually
where they need to be.
It's actually 3 storylines because Luna's in there too.
True.
Luna's in the mix.
And Debbie. So
yeah, so you've got the Alcide and you've got there's all kinds of pack politics that are going to come into play here. And this, don't you think this has to lead up to the Packmaster Challenge, right?
I believe it will.
Yeah.
I believe it will. Because, I mean, look at Marcus is moving in now on Debbie. You know, and Alcide wasn't happy with Marcus to begin with.
No. And for all of his doubts about how he feels about Sookie and Debbie in that whole situation, he is committed to Debbie. And he expects her to be committed to him. So, I mean, I get what she's saying. She wants kids and he doesn't. He's concerned about passing on his genes, but that doesn't give you the right to go screwing around, Debbie.
Yeah. Well, and she went back on V again, so that just messed everything up.
Yeah.
So Debbie is going to go down a dark path once again, but that's necessary too. If they're going to go along, you know, like we think.
Yes, it has to happen. It's going to be difficult to watch because some of our favorite characters are involved, but it has to happen. So.
Again, we had some terrific acting by Sam Trammell. I think Tommy did very well. I think he did a great death scene, and I had to laugh. I was watching the video of Joe Manganiello when he was on Good Day LA, and he was actually talking about that scene where he picked up Tommy and carried him to the Jeep, and when they were filming that, I guess Marshall Allman said, "Just don't carry me like a girl."
So of course Joe had to carry him like a girl every time.
Like a girl, right? So I had to laugh. I know it wasn't supposed to be a funny scene, but I had seen that video, and poor Tommy, Marshall,
he just can't catch a break, can he?
Gets treated like a girl, gets killed off the show.
Yeah.
Truly, I can only hope for really great things for Marshall Allman. I really like the kid. I do. And I'm going to be watching out for him in other projects.
Yeah, I think he showed some tremendous range in this arc that he's had over the last couple of seasons. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else he does.
Yeah. And so now we have a pissed off Sam. Ultimately pissed off. And that's not going to be good because pissed off Sam is dangerous Sam. We already know he's he got pissed off once and ended up 2 people dead.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't like that part of his life, but he's pretty pissed off right now. This was his brother. So I think we probably talked enough about that.
Mm-hmm.
We can probably go on to Jessica, maybe?
Yes! Oh, Jessica. She's not happy with Jason. He's feeling guilty about sleeping with her, and she's saying, you shouldn't feel guilty, I'm a free woman. Oh, honey, you're so young. It's not how that works. I love that she threw in the bromance, though. She actually used the word bromance.
Yeah.
Atta girl.
I like that. I actually was pretty ticked off at Jason.
He did not have cause to say what he said to her.
Mm-mm.
He really didn't. I mean, there are 2 people involved in this, Jason. And as guilty as you're feeling, you've got to remember you've got to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because you had her blood in you, oh, that was a bad, bad move.
She didn't, I don't know. I really felt bad for Jessica because I know she's young and everything, but Jason knows better. And truth be told, so did Hoyt.
Mm-hmm.
Here's these 2 guys and this baby vampire, young when she was turned, and these 2 grown men, mm-hmm. and they really, I think they treated her poorly in the end. I think they really did. And I was angry at Hoyt. I didn't care. His tears did not move me. When he was at Jason's house, I was not moved. I'm sorry.
I was to a degree because I do think he's feeling real pain over the breakup because it sounds like she was his first significant relationship. So I think he is genuinely sad and upset and sorry and hurting, but he's as culpable, if not more so. Well, I'd say it's about even. Mm-hmm. The culpability on both parts there, on both sides in this breakup. But, this is how breakups are. It's never one-sided.
Yeah.
There's always, even in the most horrible breakup where it seems like one person did everything wrong and the other person was a saint, there's always something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here's Jessica just not understanding.
Mm-mm.
And she's hurt too.
Mm-hmm.
At least these 2 guys have each other to go and talk to and share beers. Yeah. Where's Jessica?
Fall asleep and start farting. My gosh.
After 12 beers. Yeah. But where does Jessica go? Who does she get to talk to? She gets to go back to her place and get chained up in silver again and be miserable again.
Mm-hmm.
How much more misery can be visited on this poor girl?
Well, she's mad now. She's not going to take it anymor.
Yeah.
She doesn't care what the plan is as long as she gets to kill some shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like you said, she's angry. And, I got a little ticked off at Sookie that Sookie wouldn't even come to her defense when her and Jason were talking. Poor Hoyt. I'm sorry. When she said that, I just kind of went, please. Poor Hoyt.
Well, he's feeling bad. This is his best friend, as he explained again to her.
I get it. I get it. But
I know.
Who's sticking up for Jessica? No one.
Yeah. And she needs to, we talked about this last week, she needs to find a girlfriend. Not like a girlfriend, but she needs to find a girlfriend. Someone that she can talk about this stuff to, because she was sheltered. Before she was turned, she had 0 experience with boys. Or the real world, it seems like. And then she's turned, and she goes all rebellious. She starts going through these phases of natural, growing up. And going through them super, super fast. And then she meets Hoyt. She falls in love. They move in together. And, a year later, it falls apart. And she has no frame of reference for this. Nothing. She needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah. She truly does. She truly does. Yeah.
If only Sookie didn't have her own relationship woes to deal with.
Yeah. We need to talk about that.
Yes, we do, because there are a lot of unhappy people about that one tiny thing, and that's what they're going to latch onto for the whole episode. That was spectacular from start to finish. I'm telling you guys, you can't let one little thing ruin it for you.
No, there's so much. This show is rich. So rich.
And people are ignoring the fact that Sookie told Eric that she loved him. She said, I love you. And then he responded, I love you. You know, it was a two-way street there. But then she also said, I also love Bill. I'm not going to lie to you. And I need to figure this out. I mean, this is maturity.
Right.
This is the opposite of how Jessica handled her relationship. So why are we down on Sookie?
Very good. I like that. You're absolutely right. You know, I mean, she does have to figure it out. She does have to. There's a witch war going on. There's, people dying. Her best friend is about to die in this building that the vampire's going to blow up. There's all kinds of stuff going on, and she's supposed to sit and figure out how her feelings are between these two guys that both love her, and she loves them both. And there's nothing wrong with loving them both.
Right. She's been back from Fairyland for like a week, you guys. Maybe 8 days. And in that amount of time, she's had to deal with the fact that in real world time, she was gone for a year. Almost everyone had moved on. Jason was raped and afraid that he'd been turned into a werepanther. She's got to deal with Alcide and this new Debbie, who she still can't trust, but comes to her and wants to, at least be friends. The witches are going to war with the vampires. Eric loses his memory. Then she ends up falling in love with him, this man who she had been attracted to but didn't even like. And now she falls in love with him. Tara's being held hostage, like you said, in a building that's about to be blown up by the vampires. She sees Eric almost kill Bill while he's under a witch's spell. Now Eric's memories are back, and the war's escalating. I mean, how is she in an emotionally stable place where she can figure out how she feels about these two men?
Right.
This has been a week, you guys. It's been a week that all of that has happened in. She has not had time to figure this out. Cut her some slack.
Yeah.
And I am impressed that she had the emotional maturity to tell him, I don't want to lie to you. This is what's in me right now. And I have to figure this out. It can't be like it was. Seeing Bill almost die, those are the moments when, it's a classic storytelling. You see someone who you kind of have feelings for, you have ambiguous feelings for, you see them almost die, you almost lose them forever, and that's when you realize, things solidify and clarify for you. But this isn't a fairy tale. This isn't, now I realize that I do still love Bill. So I'm going to go off and we're going to live happily ever after. No, that's not Sookie's world. She realizes, oh, crap, I still love Bill. But I also love Eric. But now it's the old Eric, but it seems to be the new Eric too, because yay, he kept his memories of their time together, which was that was really cool. I'm glad we don't have to go through all of that.
Yeah.
Where she remembered and he didn't. Although it did provide some really fun moments.
It did.
Yes. But, I don't see her glad that she's in love with both of them. I don't see her cheering that she gets to say screw you to the viewers. I see her struggling to figure out, I'm a good girl. Why am I in love with these two different men?
Yeah.
What can I do? What am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
And she hasn't had even a minute to think about it.
No,
and she can't go talk to her best friend about it because A, her best friend is being held hostage, and B, her best friend hates vampires. So.
Well, and they had a falling out too. There's some trust that was lost there. So.
Yes.
Does Sookie even have a best friend anymore?
That's a good point. I'd say that's open for debate.
It would be. Unless Pam, will step into the role, which would be great.
Yeah, but you know who Pam's rooting for? Well, actually, I don't know who Pam's rooting for. She seemed a little bit jealous to discover that Eric was back and he did not call for her right away.
Yeah. Yeah, but she did seem jealous.
So she may actually push Sookie toward Bill for her own nefarious purposes.
Oh my goodness, the way she said thank you to Sookie was just hilarious. And her dry Pam way. Thank you.
So petulant. Yes, so petulant. Sometimes the father-daughter aspect of that relationship is just glaring. It was really sweet to see them reunited, though.
It was. It was a very, very precious moment, and it was done well by the two of them. Mm-hmm. You know, you could see how much they care about each other.
Yeah.
And Pam, you know, her world is going to come back together again. Interesting question, though, is what's going to happen with the curse that's on her skin. Is she going to keep rotting? I'm thinking that once the Martonia issue is laid to rest, things are going to go back to the way they were with her.
Yeah, that seems to be, I mean, yeah. I wonder if she had been there when Sookie zapped Eric and it broke the spell, if that wouldn't have broken the spell on Pam, too.
I don't know, but, you know, I was thinking, wouldn't that be hilarious if Pam figures out or finds out that she's got to go to Sookie?
That would be pretty cool.
I think it would be great. It would be excellent. She's got to go and be nice to Sookie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That would be great. Please make it happen. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah. Sookie will figure it out. You know, she may love the two guys for the different people, for their differences. You know, who knows? I don't know. It's not hanging me up, and I'm really loving all the other storylines in the show, so woohoo.
Yeah, I like everything else that's going on. I'm really interested in the other storylines and how they're playing out and how they're starting. Again, they're continuing to intersect. Mm-hmm. The different characters are overlapping. You know, what things that they were doing at the beginning of the season or even last season are starting to overlap with current storylines and, you know, other people. And I really like that. I really like seeing that.
Yeah. I loved how Bill put Nan in her place and said, "You are not in charge anymore."
Yes. So is he going to try to wrest control of the AVL from her?
I wonder if he and Eric and Pam might just say, you know what, you're done. We're taking matters into our hands.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did there at the end of the episode where we have that awesome, cheesy, but awesome shot of Pam and Eric and Bill and Jessica headed to Moon Goddess Emporium to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was fantastic, but I mean, like, moving forward, you know, like, after this is all done.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is they didn't include Nan in that plan.
Yeah.
They're saying, fine, you go do your thing. We're going to get this figured out. We're going to fix this. We're going to fix what you should have let us fix days ago before our vampires were killed. And, okay, you probably saw on my face, I just thought of something. What? Bill was shooting vampires at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
What was that? It was with, they weren't wooden bullets, I don't think.
Silver.
Because, you know, Eric just pulled it right out. Yeah, it was silver bullets, but what? I don't know. I don't know what to think of that.
Well, I mean, they were the vampires that were under Martonia's spell, right?
But did he know that? I can't remember. I was trying to think of a point where he knew that they were under her spell.
Well, they were his sheriffs, remember? So, and here they were killing humans and then going after Eric and Bill, or not Eric, going after Bill and Nan and just anybody that got in their way. He knew that was out of character. They had to be under Antonius.
Right, but why did he have the gun with him in the first place?
Didn't he pick it up? Somebody dropped it. He picked it up.
Oh, okay. I missed that little part then. That makes more sense. Okay. I must have looked down at the computer or something.
You're not supposed to look down at the computer when you're watching True-Blood.
I'm sorry. I was running the live chat and Twitter because somebody had family stuff to do.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And it went fine. Except for that little bit that I missed. But, okay, I feel better about that now. I was just so confused about why Bill was shooting his people.
Yeah, he had to stop him, and I'm sure that kind of sucks. Now he's got 4 sheriffs he's got to replace, or did he get them all? No, 2 of them he got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other 2 are still at the Emporium. Yeah.
For what reason, we don't know yet.
Martonia's got a plan.
Yeah, she does. See how that plan pans out next week. But in any case, it looks like Nan is going to be out of the picture.
Yeah.
To which I say yay. Although she did, somebody brought this up in the forum, and it's true. She did offer the comic relief that we knew that we were getting from Pam. So that was kind of nice.
Oh, I like her as a character. But I'm kind of ready to move on.
I'm ready to move on. I think she's just as nutty and power hungry as Marnie.
Mm-hmm. Which is a revelation, and I think is one of the things that they try to show on True Blood is that the humans and vampires in their world are not that different.
True. All right. Well, did we cover everything?
Oh, probably not, because there was a lot that happened.
It was an excellent episode. I tell you. But just one more thing, that scene at the end where they all come out of the van.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I know I'm not supposed to be thinking this, but I have children, and it just reminded me of the slow-mo scene in Monsters, Inc.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was waiting for one of them to trip and fall.
Yeah, it was a very Matrix / A-Team vibe, is what I was getting.
Oh, my.
Yes.
Oh, well. But it was cool. They all looked really cool.
Yes, they really do.
They all looked bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're going to move on. And, if we miss anything, you guys let us know. Talk about it in the comments or send us an email. We're going to move into our Ring Ring Hookah and give you our favorite quotes from the show. Mine, of course, had to be Jessica. I just want to kill shit. I felt her. I just did. I'm like, yeah, I got to give that to you, Jess.
Mine was how lovable. It was our snarky Eric back in action, referring to Bill refusing to go help Tara.
Yeah, leaning against the wall. Like, oh, gosh.
Mm-hmm. Well, to me, that said, okay, I accept what you told me earlier, Sookie, that you're in love with both of us and that you have to figure this out. But can I just point out what he just did, what he just said?
Oh, he's such a smart aleck.
Yeah, well, he's not going to let an opportunity pass. So.
No. And, I got to say, with Eric and Bill, their relationship is so much to me. My kids are like them. I'm sorry. Nobody out there has siblings that act just like those 2 boys? Really? Oh. You got to love them both. You just got to. I have to. And I do. So there. All right. Well, we've got a couple of comments and emails that we wanted to read out to you. Linda writes, "This show is amazing in how it brings people together. I was sitting in a bar, unfortunately not Merlot's, at the airport in L.A., started a conversation with a guy from the Netherlands who is also a big True Blood fan. How cool." She says, "And since the bar couldn't get True Blood on their TV, we watched it on my phone on the HBO Go app. So yay for HBO Go." Too fun. He has a big thing for Jessica. How fun to meet other people from around the world who are just as obsessed with the show as I am. I now know what a rush you all must feel, and frustrations too, all of the time. Thank you for doing what you do, Linda. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Linda. I think that's just so cool when you're, just somewhere random and you start talking True Blood with somebody, anybody, and it turns out to be somebody from a different country even. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for writing to us.
Yes. Well, Karen from Australia sent in a little note. She says, I have just come from a performance by Jace Everett in Hallam, Australia. And oh my, the man is amazing. If anyone has a chance to see him, take it. Well, thanks, Karen. Good to hear from someone who's actually seen him live in concert. And from what I've heard, yeah, he is amazing. Well, thanks for writing in. Well, we're going to move into spoilers now, so if you're trying to stay spoiler-free as we head into the last couple of episodes of the season, then now's the time to turn us off, and we'll see you next week. Or, if you're sticking around, we've got a little bit of season finale scoop. TV Guide tells us that in the finale, not everyone survives the Halloween clash between vampires and witches. There is a body count by the end, says creator Alan Ball. Okay, that's not the shocking part, because we all know that with this show. But it's more than one death, people we know and love, and it's pretty shocking. Alan also says that Antonia is the toughest foe that Bill, Eric, Pam, and Jessica have ever fought, that Sookie's decision choosing between Eric and Bill is her toughest decision she's ever had to make, and 2 major past characters return. Alan says one is beloved, the other despised, one reveal is terrifying, and one is emotional and powerful. And finally, Alan says a lot of things that seemed like they were happening outside of the witch story find their way into it. You're going to think things are finished when they are not, which we've kind of been seeing happen. Yeah, we get you. We get you, Alan. But there's been a lot of speculation about which 2 characters are returning, one beloved and one not. We're pretty sure the beloved one is Gran. There's been a little bit of a precedent for that already when Marnie channeled her earlier this season when Sookie went to see her. And of course she is beloved, so I think that's probably the case. But the terrifying one, it's not, it's probably not who you think.
No, because for those of you who thought that it was Russell Edgington, it's not going to be. An HBO spokesperson told The Hollywood Reporter that he will not be seen in this season. So next season, maybe? Who knows? We don't know yet for sure. But could be Steve Newlin. A lot of people are thinking Steve Newlin.
I don't see how that could be terrifying.
Yeah, I don't either, but I can't think of anybody else. Can you? Who are you thinking?
Well, maybe Renee, because he is one person, one human, who Sookie was genuinely scared of. But he's supposed to be dead, so.
I think it's someone from the fairy world.
Yeah. Oh, what if it's Queen Mab? That reveal could be terrifying. Because remember way back in episode, was it 2, when Tara returns to Bontom, and Sookie first sees her, and when she sees Tara coming toward her, she sees fairies. I think it was 2 fairies, maybe 3, rushing toward her. And I never understood if that was somehow connected with Tara, or if it was sort of a residual PTSD thing. I don't know, but I just can't stop thinking about that, and that it has something to do with the end game for the season.
Yeah, whatever it is that it's going to launch, it's going to give us the picture for what's going to happen for next season, for season 5. I would not be surprised if it was Queen Mab.
Well, Stephen Moyer actually dropped some hints when he spoke with MTV about his new film, The Caller. He talked a little bit about season 5. He said, obviously, I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end of the season, but it's very much heading towards already what is going to happen in season 5, and it sounds amazing. He went on to say, I know there's going to be an omnipresent power in season 5. I know what it is. I think we could be heading towards an even greater season. If they go where they're going, it will be amazing and upset a lot of people, which we always like. Steven. Thanks for adding more unhappy comments to our website with your comment. I think what he means is they like to have people talking about the show, and controversy is one way to do it. So I am so far not unhappy with things that they've done on the show. So but that does seem to suggest the omnipresent being would certainly suggest Queen Mab, wouldn't it?
Certainly would. Be interesting.
Just a couple more weeks and then we'll know.
Winding down. We're getting next week is the penultimate episode. I can never say that word really well. So anyway, we'll find out next week some more, and then after that is the season finale, and we're pretty excited about it and sad at the same time, but for this week, that's our show. Be sure to stop by True-Blood.net for the latest True Blood news, spoilers, and lots more during the week. You can also follow us on Twitter at True-Blood.net. I'll get this out. I swear I will. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.
We also want to thank Minda for doing such a fine job editing our podcast, and thank you to Alexander Skarsgard for chatting with us a few days ago to be included in this podcast. You can subscribe to True Blood Radio on iTunes at the link now showing on your screen, and don't forget to send in your questions or comments to us at webmaster@true-blood.net. We'd love to hear from you. See you next week, Trubies.